Madam President. I rise to argue that this amendment before the House is very germane. We're talking about $2.1 billion of taxpayer funding, the spending of which, the appropriation of which is very germane to any budget bill. Specifically, the $2.1 billion that I'm talking about is this excluded workers fund. For those that may not be aware, the excluded workers fund is essentially unemployment for those that were ineligible for unemployment. This is excluded workers are, by all accounts, people that are illegal immigrants or people that were recently released from prison and are not eligible to receive taxpayer funding. The math of which shows that over the next few months and going back retroactively, this could amount to as much as $27,900 per person that is otherwise not eligible for these public funds. Frankly, it's been the vast majority of New Yorkers that I've heard from are very opposed to this spending. And what we've done is we're proposing by this amendment to replace the spending of $2.1 billion on illegal immigrants' unemployment, people that are working illegally and haven't paid into the system, by any of a number of other things that are already funded that we would suggest their funding be supplemented, including paying down the balance of unemployment funds borrowed by the federal government during fiscal year 21 to ensure that our small businesses do not have to pay an interest assessment surcharge, or perhaps a tax credit that would eliminate the state income tax liability for 1 year for New York residents that are earning less than $50,000 a year. We could conform to the federal income tax exemption for the first $10,200 of unemployment received. We could increase property tax relief checks. We could provide funding for elder care, for distressed hospitals, and funding for mental health, not limited to the Joseph P. Dwyer funding for our veterans' mental health. We could double the Empire State Tax Credit over 1 or more years, and we could expand broadband in rural parts of the state that need it, that don't have it, that deserve it, that we haven't been able to deliver on. We could take some of this funding and we could put emphasis on bringing broadband to rural and underserved and perhaps more low-income communities. So any combination of these items would be a better use of $2.1 billion than to give it to people that are working illegally and that are here illegally. So for those reasons, our argument is very germane.